Canadian real estate investing is dead already. If you're thinking about investing in Canadian real estate market right at this moment, I'm going to give you 6 reasons why you shouldn't do that, and I'm also going to reveal what smart investors are doing instead. Hi, my name is Ping. I grew my portfolio in Canadian market in the past 6 years, and I was able to actually reach that financial freedom through real estate investing. Today, I'm going to show you why the old playbook of real estate investing in Canada is no longer working in today's market. And I'm going to show you exactly what the experienced investors are currently doing so that you can just copy and start this journey successfully. And make sure you stick until the end because I'm going to also provide you with a step-by-step process so you're not investing $200,000 or more and stuck in one property only. Okay, reason number one, the average home price is just way too high. In Toronto, the average detached home has gone over $1.3 million depending on where you are. In Vancouver, it's even worse. It's at $1.6 million and above. In townhome, we're also looking at above $1 million. So keep in mind, when we're talking about real estate investing, it's actually all about cash flow. And the moment that you have such a high price, which is such a high mortgage, it is almost impossible to even cover the mortgage payment. I want to give you some reference point. My very first property, a detached home near McMaster University, 6-bedroom student rentals. I only paid $272,000 for that home. And all the way until 2017, even for the legal 6plex, and I only paid $525K for that 6plex, which is something that you can't even afford a condo in today's market. So if you do the math, you simply can't get anything here, and that would still make financial sense. And you're hoping to kind of just park your funds and kind of wait for that appreciation, it's really not a great idea because every month you're still dealing with all the operating costs, the mortgage payment, the maintenance, insurance, and all that stuff. And this is going to be a very stressful process just for you to hope that eventually the market will go up. And this really leads to reason number two is that a lot of people are actually predicting the future real estate price based on the old data, the past 10 to 15 years, where we saw a crazy amount of appreciation. And this is actually what bothers me because we got such a nice ride for the past 10, 15 years. A lot of my properties actually double or even triple in value. If we can just take a step back, look at the market from a very rational point of view, do we actually believe that the average home price right now at $1 million is going to be double or triple over again? And this is where the problem is with a lot of current local realtor real estate professionals. They're still using 5 to 7% market appreciation every single year to predict that your real estate asset is still a good investment. It's very dangerous for all of us to actually make that dangerous assumption before getting into the market. And also keep in mind, our government is trying to really cool down the real estate market and also immigration policy, which means we're not going to get that kind of influx of demand in Ontario or in BC anymore. Reason number three is that interest rate is going to kill your margin. And I learned my lessons from early on because I utilized a lot of private lenders. And what I realized is that oftentimes if you don't factor in the appreciation and you're kind of working with the cash on cash return cash flow, most of the payment still goes to a lender. It almost feels like you're working for the lenders at this point. And at that point, I was playing with $300K mortgage. In today's market, any properties that you're acquiring in Canadian market is easily at $500, $600, $700K. It's way higher than before. And also interest payment, if you're not dealing with an A lender, you're easily dealing with anywhere between 8 to 10% interest rate. So that's the real math. We're not even talking about the golden rule, 1% rule for real estate, which is that you're not drawing that 1% of purchase price for your monthly income. Anything that's $800K, $1 million, you're not getting that 10K rental income. And this is really dangerous because right now we're playing with a 0.5% or in some cases 0.3 to 4% depending on which area that you're in. So a lot of properties I'm seeing right now on sale is barely even cash flowing. If you're factoring the property managers and all that stuff, you're basically in the negative already, which means you can't just buy a property without doing anything, place a tenants for that specific unit and start generating cash flow. That math is never going to work out in today's market. And this is why a lot of people started doing a lot of conversion work to add that ADU either in the basement or garden suite, or they try to do a bit of infill development just to make the number work. And that leads to reason number four. It's just too much work. And the moment that is so much work, it's really hard to scale your portfolio this way. You can probably only do one deal every 12 months to 18 months because guess what? We're in Canada, everything's super slow. Permitting process will cost a long time and coordination with the building inspectors and all that stuff. Based on my experience, pain in the ass all the time. On top of that, a good contracted schedule is not easy to coordinate either. So you play with a lot of back and forth. Interest payments are accumulating. This is just a headache in my opinion. There was 1 year that I acquired 18 projects at a time. So you're going to be dealing with such a high carrying cost throughout this whole process. And guess what? A lot of us invest in real estate for what? Passive income. We're trying to make our life a little bit better. It's doing the complete opposite. It's very active. It puts you back into more like a project manager or contractor GC type of role. And on top of that, if you got a family commitment, your job, honestly, this is just an additional layer of stress that you kind of need to handle. And this is exactly how I felt in 2022 and 2023. It's just that things are not as easy anymore. It really makes me question a lot of real estate investing decisions that I made here in Ontario. And reason number five is the landlord tenant, which was the main reason why I decided not to continue investing in Canadian market. My last eviction took me 30 months ask for something black and white. It was really insane. That whole process was just very ridiculous in my opinion. And it's not just me. I've seen more and more landlords talking about, hey, what do I do? My tenant actually stopped paying me rent, or my tenants are not cooperating to pay rents on time every single month. What do I actually do? And this entire process, by the way, often will take 8 to 12 months. They're trying to work on it, but honestly, it's just way too many rules and regulation that's working against the landlord. This entire process just drags forever without holding the tenants accountable, and that's one thing I really don't like it. To a certain degree, I definitely agree that we need to be holding landlords accountable to provide a certain standard of housing, but at the same time, there's no possible way to actually hold the tenants accountable for any damages and all sort of stuff. Imagine you just put all of your hard money into one property, do all sort of conversion, dealing with all those other city, and then one tenant stop paying you rent, and you still have to go through this entire process. This will make you question about investment decision as well as humanity. And by the way, don't laugh. It's not about whether you're going to face it, it's about when you're going to actually go through that kind of experience. And number 6, just when you're so sick and tired of everything, you want to sell it. Market happened to appreciate a little bit, so you're like, okay, I'm done with this business. Let me sell one property. CRA now comes in here, hedge it with the capital gain tax. And this really is something that I'm having a lot of trouble continuing to expand my portfolio here in Canada. You're going to continue to see more and more regulation coming into the market to restrict, regulate the investors. But at the same time, there's no plan to increase the supply. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I think more and more investors will exit the market, and the government will definitely need to have a plan to solve that affordability issue in the next 5 to 10 years. And this is the main reason why a lot of experienced investors who are in scaling phase trying to get into the US market, because the landlord rights, scalability, affordability, everything just makes a little bit more sense than investing in Canadian markets. If you're wondering exactly how experienced investors are pivoting to a different market and using very simple steps, definitely give this video a watch where I break down the step-by-step process on how to acquire your very first US property. I'll see you on the other side.